Hello friends and welcome back to Picture Astrology. In this quick video we will learn about placement of Saturn in the sign of Aquarius when ascendant is Aries. So when Aries, which is the first sign of zodiac, rises in a chart, Aquarius falls in the 11th house. So when we have Aries ascendant horoscope, Saturn becomes lord of 10th and 11th house. Because these two houses contains Capricorn and Aquarius sign and both of them are owned by Saturn. And since Saturn is placed in the 11th house, that means Saturn is in the own sign. And Aquarius is also not just the own sign, it is known as the Mool Trikona sign of the Saturn. And one of the qualities of a Mool Trikona sign over the own sign is that a own sign of a planet brings about both good as well as bad qualities of a planet. When I say bad qualities of planet, every planet represents some really desirable qualities and some not so desirable qualities. Say for example, Mercury shows sharp intellect. It shows how quick your brain works. But the same Mercury can give you a very shrewd tendency. You know how to cheat. That is also taught by Mercury using the same intellect. Similarly, Saturn can give you good discipline, someone who has a lot of perseverance to work, but the same Saturn can give you a lot of laziness because both of them are inherent quality of a particular planet. And own sign brings about both of these qualities. However, when we talk about Mool Trikona sign, and Mool Trikona actually is not the full sign, it is just a small area within that particular sign. So, but for the purpose of this video, I am just calling Aquarius as the Mool Trikona sign. So, Mool Trikona sign mostly brings about the desirable or good qualities. That's a very fundamental difference which not many people even talk about. However, because Saturn is in Mool Trikona sign, in Sanskrit it is known to be in a state called Harshit state, which when translated basically means a cheerful state. So Saturn in 11th house in Aquarius sign is in a very cheerful state. And it is the lord of your 10th house as well as 11th house. And this actually makes the placement of Saturn very desirable and giving off many great qualities in a person's life. And effect of that can be felt not just in matters related to 10th house and 11th house, which is your work area as well as your social circle, your games, your friends, but Saturn has some aspects. From the 11th house, Saturn will aspect the first house, Saturn will aspect the 5th house from the 7th aspect, and Saturn will also aspect the 8th house because of the 10th house aspect. And that cheerful Saturn's effect can be felt on all of these houses 1, 5, 8, 10, 11, and many desirable qualities can be obtained or actually is given by this Saturn related to all these areas of life. Now let's see some very specific and practical examples of this placement. So 11th house represents your friends or social circle, and as I said, this cheerful Saturn is placed in the 11th house, which in general gives you lots of friends and a big social circle. And these friends and social contacts are very beneficial for you in terms of expanding your work as well, because Saturn is lord of your 10th house of work as well. So many times because of your work, you get to meet lots of people, new people, and your connections and relationships which you make during those meetings, they stay for long, and you actually form a mutually beneficial relationship. So remember, in your work life with this placement, the friends and bondings you're going to make, they will help you a lot, and they will be mutually beneficial for you as well as for your friends. And as I said, this placement gives a long lasting relationships or a large social circle, yet you will be able to keep in touch and keep in contact with your friends and acquaintances over a long period of time. Now another thing with this Saturn's placement is that it gives gains which are commensurate to your work, meaning the more work you do, the more gain you have, and your efforts are never wasted. You know, there are many times in life when people face situation where they give a lot of work, they put in a lot of efforts, but they don't gain enough out of it. However, with Saturn in this 11th house, in 11th sign, being lord of 10th house, posited in second from itself, ensures that the person always gains everything which is commensurate to the work, meaning you either gain what you work or you gain more than that. So this is actually one of the reasons why this is called a very blessed situation or very blessed placement of Saturn in any horoscope. Now let's quickly talk about Saturn's aspect on the first house. Saturn aspecting the very first house, which shows your physical self and your mental nature, actually causes a couple of things. So first of all, aspect of Saturn on first house is good for physical strength. However, since the lord of ascendant is Mars, and Saturn and Mars are enemies of each other, they don't get along well. Therefore, some or the other physical problem also is caused by this aspect, especially in the early childhood. But as the age progresses, the problems or physical issue because of Saturn becomes less and less, and the aspect of Saturn gives a strong physique, a good physique. At the same time, Mars has a tendency of being reckless. Mars is a very energetic planet, and Saturn gives much needed patience to that energy. It gives much needed restraint to that Martian energy of Aries Ascendant. And in that regard, the placement of Saturn or the aspect of Saturn on the first house is very desirable position again. So, usually Aries Ascendant folks are known to start a lot of work, known to start many things, but they don't have patience to complete them or perseverance to complete them. However, this Saturn here adds that much needed perseverance and patience. Now, one more thing related to the 11th house position of Saturn is Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, especially when it is not in the Mool Trikon area. So only a certain degree in this sign of Aquarius is the Mool Trikon area, and specifically I think it is between 0 to 20 degree is the Mool Trikon, and rest of it is just the own sign. So especially if Saturn is not in the Mool Trikon area but in the own sign area, which is from 20 to 30 degrees, and if there is affliction to Saturn, especially the affliction of a north node or Rahu, when that afflicts this Saturn placed in Aquarius, then there is a great tendency of overindulgence, overspending money and time for pleasures. And that tendency can develop, as I said, especially if there has to be some affliction in this Saturn's position, and it will happen more predominantly if Saturn is not in the Mool Trikon part of the Aquarius sign. So this is one tendency which has to be checked for this placement, which otherwise gives a lot of benefit to the person. So with this, I'll stop here for this quick snapshot analysis of Saturn's placement in Aquarius for Aries Ascendant. I sincerely hope you would have gained a deeper insight into this placement. And as I said in the beginning, there are so many other areas of the chart which can be interpreted or which can be understood because of this placement of Saturn, and I'll make some detailed video of this placement later on. But for now, thank you so much for being with me and watching this video. Please do like and subscribe to my channel to continue to receive updates. And thanks again for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.